Oh boy, they not ready. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby. And today I'm coming at you guys with a deck profile that has not been showcased on this channel at all. And it is pure Sky Strikers. Now, I'm just very blessed and fortunate to happen to have really good friends around me to help me to showcase this profile. And there's a good reason why I wasn't able to showcase it on the channel before, and it's very simple. I just never was able to procure the cards. They were pretty expensive at the time they came out, and it really hindered me from picking up the deck. Now, I do have a respect and admiration for it for the simple fact that it's a very honorable deck. Its playstyle reminds me of good old-fashioned classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's interact with each other. Let's try to skillfully outwit each other. Let's try to use our actual strategic battle plans against each other and see which one can outcome the other and kind of just secure the victory. I like the way Sky Strikers play. It's honorable. It's not like some, oh, I don't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I just want to wrangle you. And who knows if I have more skill than you. I just want to wrangle you. No, Sky Strikers are so honorable. I like it. It's a very respectful play style, and I just really admire the deck. You guys are going to get some of my insight on how I like to play Sky Strikers. So I'm going to hop into my list. My card choices are my own. So, just because this isn't going to look identical to every Sky Striker list you see doesn't mean you should hate it. But this is a going second Sky Striker build. There are going to be some very unorthodox card choices that I made in here on purpose. Because I really wanted to take advantage of the resource game that this deck already has going for itself. I felt that since that's its greatest strength, why not just play a lot of going second cards to simplify the game state against every deck? Drop a multi-roll and start pushing, just start going for big pushes in terms of your card economy, building your resources back up after you've used your hand traps on your opponent. And what you end up doing is you one-up them. You end up having more cards than they do, more cards in hand, more cards on field, and a multi-roll that's constantly recycling your cards, getting you more value. I really like the way I play my Sky Strikers. I was just testing them against a hand trap heavy ABC deck, and they were doing really good, you guys. But here's my list. So we're gonna start off with 3 copies of Ray. Ray is bae, bro. She's bae. She's a good card. You can't really play without her. If you don't open Ray or a way to get to her, you're gonna start losing really fast. Your game's not gonna last very long without her. She's really important. She keeps you in the game. A lot of times what a smart player would do, even me, when I play against Sky Strikers, I try to get them out of the Ray chain. And how you do that is you try to kill their link and negate Ray's effect, so that way that they're out of the Ray chain and they have to draw into another Ray so they could go into the Sky Striker ladder again. So she's just that important, that she's so important that people will go out of their way to make sure that you can't get another Ray on field and go into the links, because she's what keeps you in the game, man. Ray is bae. Some cool little cheeky damage pushes you can get with her in Hayate, or just attack with her, tag out into Kagari if you need to. There's other plays that she can make. She's really amazing. In the mirror match, whoever opens Ray first gets farther ahead than the other person immediately. It just depends on what the other person has. And then the rest of the cards are hand traps. I played 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. I think the card's very universal. There's something that every deck has that can be Ash Blossom. That's what makes it such a great dynamic hand trap. Next, we have 3 copies of Gamma. I'm a huge advocate of Gamma. I love Gamma in the main. It's not just about me going second, but oftentimes, if I end up hand trapping my opponent enough, I'll hold my Gamma, so that way when I activate my multi-roll, it won't get Ghost Ogre, because if my multi-roll resolves, that's an infinite call by the grave for all my spells, so I can just break their board and they can't respond. That's what I love about going second with this deck, is multi-roll is such a powerful card. Multi-roll allows you to literally just break your opponent's board, in the mirror match tell them no, they can't do anything to stop you, and you literally just out-resource them after that. You break their board. What I really love doing is I just want to hand trap them, evenly match them, and then multi-roll for the win. It's so good. It's just so good, and Gamma really helps in those situations. Even when you're going first and you're activating Engage and any other power starter cards, if your opponent tries to Ash Blossom you or Ghost Bell you, or for example anything like that, you just punish them with Gamma, make an Omega, rip a card out their hand, and you out-resource them that way. When you're going second, you can make Scrap Dragon to pop more cards. I also really like the interaction with Omega and multi-roll, because sometimes you have those one-of Sky Striker spells that got banished off multi-roll, but they'll come up another time, And I like the fact that Cypher and Little Mega can put those back to the grave, and I can use them again off multi-roll. So Gamma's just so multi-purpose. It fills a lot of niches. I just love it a lot. It stops turns by itself, especially against Thunder Dragons. We have 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre is amazing. It's not just the mirror match. Against Altergeist and Sky Strikers in particular, Ghost Ogre is really great. Hitting the continuous multi-roll, even if it resolves and you can't respond, it's the fact that they won't get all that surplus and amount of value during the end phase. And it's really good against Altergeist hitting Celiquid, hitting the continuous traps that they play. Sometimes you just want to Ghost Ogre Hexia so you don't have to deal with it for the rest of the time. And they activate Manifestation. You change Shark Cannon to the target, and it's over. So yeah, I really like Ghost Ogre a lot. I think that it's incorrect that a lot of players are not running it. Like, every time I see a Sky Striker player not playing it, it just like makes me really wonder. Because now that I've been playing the deck and I'm understanding it, I learn this deck really fast. Like, I grasp it really quick, and like I know how good Ghost Ogre is in the mirror match. Like, it's like do or die. Like, whoever's multi-roll can stay up the longest. Like, that's who's gonna last longer. And me being able to ogre a multi-roll and save my Bell for a power play is just so good. We have 1 Bell in the main because we only own 1. And then I also, instead of playing the second Bell because I don't have it, I decided to proxy it for a Veiler. But really, it's just another hand trap. So once we get the second Bell, the Veiler's gonna become a Bell. I might end up bumping Bell to 3 because she's just really, really good this format. I think that she really helps you out in a lot of different matchups. She stops Saki 1-ups. She really helps against Thunder Dragons and against Altergeist and against Sky Strikers and against Dark Warriors. Like, she just stops the best decks right now. Her and Ashe just stop turns. So we have these first 10 hand traps. I also play 3 evenly matched and 3 impermanents. So I'm going pretty hard on the going second cards. I'm not playing any games with it. Because like I literally just want to simplify the game state with hand traps, and I want to dominate with multi-roll, engage in the resource game that the Sky Strikers already capitalize on that strength. And I felt, why try to fix something that's not broken? Why try to force a bunch of other engines to try to make the deck function in a way that it already does function? I felt that I wanted to capitalize on this resource game, and I felt I wanted to play it as competitive as possible. And this is one of the decks that can man a lot of hand traps, and I like that because now I'm not getting FTK, I'm not getting Rongo Mini added, and you know, in the mirror match, like, you just hand trap the crap out of them, and they're left with little to no resources, and you can just dominate them. You can even activate, for example, like an Afterburner on their Kagari or their Link monster, and they'll use Ray from Grave. You chain Gamma, negate Ray, and you've just won the mirror match now because you're about to OTK them. And then I play 1 driver. It's obligatory. You have to play it because of Gamma. I think Gamma is just so good. You can't really stop it from resolving. If you Ashe or Bell it, you go minus because you can resolve Gamma again. It's not once per turn. And there's no way to call by it. So, like, the only ways for people to stop Gamma are Ashe and Bell. And the unfortunately sad thing about that is if they Ashe or Bell it, you can use it the same turn. So I just think that Gamma is just such a dominating hand trap that if you're not main decking it, like, you're just, I don't know. Like, I can't down talk you for not playing a certain card because it's your choice, but I just think it's so good. Now for our spells, we have 3 copies of Engage. You have to be really careful with these. As I've been learning with this deck, a lot of Sky Striker players are really, really greedy, and they don't play the deck as effectively as it can be piloted. And I think this is one of the cards that really people are just so focused on their entire game. You don't always have to just focus on trying to like search out multiple engages and like just engage as many times as possible. Oftentimes what I'll do is I'll resolve 1 engage, get my multi-roll, and then I'll use Kagari and I'll add engage back, and then I'll set up my resources there. But what most people do is like they try to, like, when they have engages, like, they just waste them. They're just trying to draw cards. They waste them on copies of cards that they don't need at the moment just to draw. I find that if I have everything I need, and my back roll's full, or like my back roll's 4 to 5, like, I will either hold my engage until the time is right, or I'll use it for a specific card for the specific situation, like for the encounterment that it's needed for. I just really think that you have to be careful with these because once you resolve multi-rolls, you'll eventually get to a point when you run out of engages. So you want to make sure you use them at the right time and when it matters the most, when it's the most impactful, and you want to search the right card off of engage. I don't think that it's smart to play this deck in a greedy way because this deck can afford to play. You have to be patient as a Sky Striker player, you have to be patient. This deck can afford to play taking a couple turns off. Like, if your back row's full, you want to keep that only engage in your hand to make your opponent think that you have a hand trap. You want to use your back row to stun them and interact with them and interfere in their combos. And then that card in your hand that they thought was a hand trap is engaged. You drop that, and now you're winning, and you just played that mind game on them. I just really play this deck in a different way. Next up, I played 3 multi-rolls. I think this is the second best Sky Striker card in the entire deck. This card is insane. And the reason why it's really good for me, because I'm going second. And I need all of my cards to resolve. Every single one of them. Like, you can resolve a Raigeki off of this that they can't stop. Like, I just really feel that multi-roll is so important because I'm purposely a turn behind because I'm choosing to go a second. So I just really need to make sure that I can keep my resource game on par in the mirror match. And also, it's better to open this so that you don't have to waste your engage search on this. That way, you can play this, activate its effect, and then play your engage and start loading counters on it and get your resources back. I just think multi-roll is really insane, you guys. Like, it's so good going second. You have no idea. Like, especially in the mirror match. And then I played 3 copies of Area Zero. I actually love this field spell a lot. I think it's really strong at 3. I think that because it really helps you to get access to your combo pieces, it's important to maximize on cards like this because Sky Strikers are terrible when they brick, and they brick when they can't get into their Ray. You need to see Ray as quickly as possible, and you need to maximize on every card that can get you to your Ray. I don't care that this is hard once per turn. Like, I'd rather see this than not see it. And if I haven't seen my Sky Striker engine, this can help me to get into it. Like, I've sacked off this plenty to understand how powerful this field spell is. Like, there's 2 and 2 ratios. There's 3 and 2 ratios. I'm a huge advocate of the 3 and 2 ratio. Like, there's different mindsets and approaches when you're playing Sky Strikers, but I think in my heart that this is absolutely like a must-have 3 of. Like, because I'm going second and I'm hand trapping my opponent, I can't win if I don't have access to my Sky Striker engine. So the fact that you would cut one of these just because, it's a hard once per turn, like, you're risking losing consistency that your deck already needs to have. Sky Strikers don't have a myriad of starter cards like people think they have. Like, they literally have Engage, Rhoda, Ray, and like multi-roll and Zero. And like, these technically aren't starter cards if you don't have an Engage or a Ray. This is supposed to help you get to that point. Next up, my favorite, absolute favorite Sky Striker spell card. You guys, like, like, multi-roll is my second favorite. And, you know, Engage is awesome. Like, Engage is everybody's favorite, but it's not my favorite, even though it searches everything out. My favorite Sky Striker spell to interact with is actually Shark Cannon. I actually play 3 Shark Cannons. Now, before you dislike this video and crucify me and cuss me out and tell me all these bad things about myself, hear me out on why I play Shark Cannon at least, all right? So, I really love Shark Cannon, and this is the main reason. It's not just the experience that I've had, because I've had amazing experiences with this card in the short amount of time I've been playing Sky Strikers. This card is godly in the mirror match. Like, playing 3 Shark Cannons in your main, you can brick and still win. You can brick in the mirror match. You can go second, hand trap them. This is 3 extra copies of Ray in the mirror match. 3 extra copies of Ray, even if you don't have Engage. Even if you don't have any way to search. This is 3 Rays. You will activate this. You will just special summon their Ray from the grave, and you'll trigger, I'm sorry, not their Ray, but one of their, I should have changed that, I'm sorry. You can special their Ray also if you want to, or you can special their Links. And the beauty is, even if they don't have a Ray engraved, if you special these Links, they get their effect if they're special summoned. So in the mirror match, this gives you free pluses. This is like a free Shizuku, it's a free Hayate, it's a free Kagari. In the Thunder Dragon matchup, it's actually insane. In Altergeist, you can just rape them. Like, this is how Altergeist will not be able to outgrind you, because they'll be trying to use their manifestation. Every time they activate it, you chain this and make them miss their target. And if you want to, you can just special summon their target to your field, and you can make a play with it and link off with it. This also is one of the main reasons why you can OTK by making Boar because you take your opponent's Link 2, you can chain these 2, like you can activate one, chain another, take 2 of their monsters, like a Link 2 especially, summon them to your field, link off with your Link monster, go into Boar and you can get a lot of damage, especially considering this is not once per turn. You can activate another one just so that you can have a target for Boar to change the defense. So, like, I just think this card's amazing. It's incredible in every meta matchup. It's dominating Dark Warriors. It's dominating Altergeist. It's dominating the mirror match. Like, this card, I think this is one of the best cards in the mirror match. Like, it's hands down, in my opinion, the best card in the mirror match, like, period. Especially when you multi-roll. When you multi-roll with this, they can't even bail it. They can't ghost bail in Haunted Mansion. So now you have to take their Ray. They don't have a choice. They can't even chain Ray from grave because you didn't do anything to their Link monster. So when you're able to take their Ray, link it off into one of your own Link monsters, you just start getting ahead of them. Like, it's so good. I love Shark Cannon. Like, dude, I love this card so much. It's an amazing card. In the Thunder Dragon matchup, bro, you can just literally just take a Titan and crash it into Titan. You can take a Colossus from them. You can tell them, no. Now you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Try to pop your own card. Like, and they just waste resources popping their own card. Like, this card is amazing. Like, it's so good. Like, if you're one card away from killing one of their monsters, you can just Afterburner. Well, you can activate this, and you can activate Afterburner and then chain this. Take their one Thunder Dragon that they had to protect the Colossus, special it to your field, and Afterburner will resolve after that and kill it. Like, there's so many applications for this card. It's so good. Like, I will never not play 3. You can't tell me not to play 3. It's so good, you guys. Like, this is the best card in the mirror match. I'm telling you. And then we only have one Widow Anchor, unfortunately. I would love to play 3 of this card. Obviously, it's one of the best Sky Striker cards. This is one of the main reasons why you can get pushes for damage in OTK, because your monsters aren't that big and you're not always able to go into Boar Sword like as often as most decks, but you can easily take one of their best monsters and just kill them with it. And then next up, I played 2 copies of Eagle Booster. Eagle Booster keeps you in the game. It also prevents your Sky Striker Ace Link monsters from being like Impermanenced or Veilered, Ghost Ogred, you know, stuff like that. It really helps in general, and I just really think that in the mirror match, this is really important. Because oftentimes, like, what they're trying to do is take your Ray away. So, like, if they have Call By, like, this is why, again, like, I love Shark Cannon. The mirror matches, you can't lose the mirror match if you have a Shark Cannon and a multi-roll. Like, they can't even bail it. But, like, in the mirror match, that's why this is so important, because oftentimes, like, they'll have a Call By the Grave, and they'll Call By the Ray, and all they need to do is just kill your Link to get you out of the Ray chain. So they'll try to pop your Ray, pop your Kagari or your Shizuku or your Hayate, and you just really need access to this card. Even though it's searchable off engage, you need at least 2 of it. It's really important in the mirror match. And in general, just to stay afloat so that you don't get OTK'd. Because when you have a Shizuku or a Kagari and you flip this, the Kagari is either huge or the Shizuku's making all their monsters small, and it's already unable to be destroyed by battle and unaffected. So you're going to live that turn, and that's all you really need sometimes. We have 1 Hornet Drones. It's your honorary Ray. I personally love Jammy Waves. Even though people are going to crucify me and dislike my video just because I play Jammy Waves, I love Jammy Waves. I think Jammy Waves solves a lot of problems that this deck has, which is dealing with monsters that can't be targeted by card effects. You cannot interact with those kind of cards with your Widow Anchor or your Afterburner. And I find that it's better to main Jammy Wave. It's better to have the out for that specific situation than to automatically lose to a Yazi. Like, you guys know that Yazi is very popular. It's easy for Dark Warriors to make it. Now, if they make a Yazi on you, you literally have to pray to God that you have a way to attack over the Yazi. And that's, like, going to be really difficult sometimes. So just having the searchable removal that doesn't target is really good. I will just set my own card, pop my own card, and kill theirs. Or if they have a set for me, like, I can use it that way. I don't have Afterburner, or I would be playing it in my list. Next up for our normal spells that aren't Sky Strikers, I play 3 Foolish Barrel Goods. I love this card a lot. It solves a lot of problems. Oftentimes, this card gives you access to engage immediately. It's like a Hayate before you even get Hayate. It's especially turn 1 when you can't even attack and you're going first. When you have Ray in this, you just dump engage and use Ray to make Kagari and add your engage back. And oftentimes, like when you already have engage, you just use it to dump Foolish Barrel Goods just to load your Raven spell so you can get pluses. Or whenever you're playing with your multi-roll, you can use this to send a good target for multi-roll. That way, like, Shizuku gets you one. You can even do the Wombo with Widow Anchor on Shizuku, set that, and then the target you send off Foolish Barrel can be sent off multi-roll too. Like, this card's just too good. I love it. I don't care that it's hard once per turn. Like, you just get so far ahead of it. I think it's like, I would play this over Pot of Desires because this solves a lot more problems, and Desires can be a problem, whereas this is never a problem. And then we have 2 copies of Optimus Prime for the 3 field spells. It's absolutely incorrect to maximize on every combo piece you need. Because like I said, this deck will brick if you don't have Ray. Like, if you don't have access to Ray, Shark Cannon. You just need to have a Shark Cannon in the mirror match. Like, that's all you need. Like, it's so good. But if you don't have access to Ray, you really can't play. Ray is Bay. And then 1 Rhoda just for the extra Ray. And 1 Metal Foes Fusion for our Foolish Barrel goods. And it never hurts to draw. Like, it's actually so good to draw the card all the time. Like, oftentimes you just need that free target for multi-roll or that free target off of Area 0. Like, you just need a target that's not going to make you neg. And that card's perfect for that situation. My main deck's super different. Like, I don't main deck Shared Ride because I'm going second. Why on earth would I want to go second main decking Shared Ride? It doesn't make sense. Next up for our traps, we play 3 Infinite Impermanents. This adds to the other 10 hand traps that I already play. So I main 13 hand traps plus the 3 Evenlies. If Evenly wasn't just such a broken card, like Evenly for 5 in the mirror match, or just in general, if it wasn't so broken, this would easily be like other combo pieces. Like, even still, my deck's short 3 cards. Like, I'm missing 1 Afterburner and 2 Widow Anchor. So the deck's not all the way complete, but it's nearly. But like, Evenly's just so amazing. Especially like with this particular deck, the way I'm playing it. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, I'm purposely going second. I'm evening your board. And I'm just literally like, the game state's already simplified off of 1 card. Like, the fact that I can put you in that scenario off of 1 card is so good. Because with Sky Strikers, if you don't play evenly, it takes a lot of spells to put your opponent in that kind of game state. And sometimes that's just a waste of resources when you can just do it all with 1 evenly. I just love this card so much. Like, dude, it's so good. And Impermanence is just amazing, you guys. Like, it's a double negation. It'll negate Floodgates for you. It'll keep you in the grind. In the mirror match, if they flip, there can only be 1 on you. You can just activate this so that you're not locked into only 1 Link monster. Next up for our side deck, I side an Artifact Engine. I side 3 Artifact Sanctums, 1 Scythe, and 2 Lancias. I like the Artifact Engine. Because I'm going second, I just really wanted to side for going first, because that's where the deck will be weak a lot of times. Like, you don't want to go first with Evenlies in your deck. You know, it just kind of sucks. So, like, when you want to go first or when your opponent makes you go first, which oftentimes when they see you have an Evenly in your deck, they will make you go first, but some good players will do that counter side mind game. And so every time I would be siding with this deck, I would keep in both going second and going first cards, because my opponent's the one who gets to choose who goes first. And I don't want to lose just because he was able to, like, smart me by making me still go second, thinking that, like, you know, oh, well, since he knows I want to go second, he's going to make me go first, and, like, that kind of thing, you know, if you get what I'm saying. So I side a lot of going first cards. The Lancias are here because this deck can lose pretty hard to evenly match. And it also is not a bad thing that you can just use this as a hand trap against a lot of the best decks. Like, against Thunder Dragons, it's really good. Against Dark Warriors, it's really good as well. So it has applications outside of countering evenly matched. And it just makes your Sanctum that much more flexible so that you're not, like, dead drawing Sanctums after you flip the Scythe on them. And There Can Only Be One is just an amazing card in this deck. It's just so good, you guys. I also side deck 3 Epsilons. I think this card's very skillful, and I don't see anybody playing it, and I don't know why. But this card is just, like, so good against people who think that they can hide behind traps without using actual skill. They flip a Floodgate, you negate it with Epsilon, you make Scrap Dragon, and you pop their other card. So what I love about Epsilon against the trap decks is it's 1 card that makes them waste 2. Why does it make him waste 3 stacks? Because you can negate their trap, you can make Scrap Dragon, pop another card, or you negate their trap and you make Nightmare Phoenix and pop a card. Either way, you're going to pop. Like, you can make Service too. Like, it's always like a 1 card utility purpose that clears multiple threats. And it's not once per turn, which is really nuts. So, like, Epsilon is just so good, you guys. I love it. Like, it wins me games. Like, it literally just wins me games. Like, against Altergeist, like, they're like standby personal spoofing. You just chain this, you negate it, you make your Scrap Dragon, and then you activate his effect. They try to negate it with Protocol. Now they've wasted Protocol and Personal Spoofing's been negated. You've cleared their 2 most problematic cards on your turn with 1 card. Or they, like, activate Rivalry. Like, it's just so good. I like it because, like, when I'm going second against trap decks, I cannot afford to pay half my life points with the reboot thinking that, oh, I'm going to win in time, because this deck can struggle with damage output. And if you don't already have a Ray in hand, whether you reboot them or not, you're losing because you can't OTK with this deck. It's really difficult to do going second against decks like that. So I just think this is better because it also solves that problem where you lack with having a monster on field that's big enough to do damage for you. So I just love the side frames. I love Epsilon and Gamma. I think they're good. And, you know, if you don't want to play them, that's you. But I don't tell me not to play them because I'm going to keep playing them. They're great cards. And then I played 3 Pancreatops. Pancreatops is really good at outing Floodgates. I felt that he was a little bit more skillful than Twin Twisters, even though Twin Twisters is a 2-for-1 or a 2-for-2. I just liked Pancreatops because the problem that I've had with this deck is its damage output and its ability to deal with threatening cards under pressure. I like that Pancreatops allows me to play under pressure while applying my own surplus of a pressure on my opponent. And he also is like a card that can instantly out an Inspector Border plus a Floodgate, or he can instantly out a monster and a Floodgate, and which I like, whereas Twin Twisters can't do that. But if you want to, you could just cut these for Twin. But what I wanted my cards to do in my side deck, I wanted them to be multi-purpose and not only specifically counter one thing. Like Twin Twisters is only good against back row. Epsilon is good against back row and monsters. Why? Because you can go into a Nightmare Cerberus or a Phoenix off of this, or you can make Scrap Dragon. So I just find that this is more flexible than Reboot 2, and this is more flexible than Twin. Am I making sense? Like, it really, to me, like, that's my logic, that's my mindset whenever I side deck, and that's how this is how I play Yu-Gi-Oh, you guys. Like, this is me. Now for our extra deck, we have 3 Kagaris. You have to be really careful also with how often you summon your Sky Striker links. Like, me personally, I learned off experience that if you get greedy, you'll run out of Kagaris, and then in the mid to late game when you're grinding, you'll be really salty that you don't have any more Kagaris because you got greedy because you wanted to add back as many cards as possible, like especially engages and stuff like that. Like, you have to be careful with how often you summon this card. Like, you can't just haphazardly just summon Kagari. Like, you can't summon it every turn. Like, I learned that the hard way. Like, you can't afford to summon Kagari every turn. Otherwise, you're giving yourself 3 turns to win the duel. Like, you have to make sure every time you resolve Kagari, it's the difference between changing the tempo and the game state to be in your favor. You can't just haphazardly just activate Kagari every time you get the chance to, if that makes sense. Because oftentimes, the only way you'll get over big threatening monsters without like a Jammy Waves is like with Kagari, because she can attack over them. And then also Shizuku can help with that as well. I only have 1 Shizuku. This is 2 proxies. But Shizuku is really good, including in the mirror match, like especially because I'm going second all the time. Like, I can just Shark Cannon their Ray or one of their links and just summon it and then turn it into Shizuku. And like Shizuku would just give me a surplus for no reason, like for no reason. Also, another thing that I want to share about the mirror match is because Shark Cannon is a card and you know that your opponent plays it in their deck in whatever amount they play, the link monster you end on, if you don't want to if you don't want your opponent to take your monster with the Widow Anchor, like if you don't have Afterburner, and you don't want them to Widow Anchor your monster and link off with it, if you're playing around Widow Anchor without a way to counter it, in on the link monster that you don't want them to make. What I'm saying is if you don't want them to make Kagari, in on Kagari. So when they Widow Anchor it, they can't turn it into a Kagari. Does that make sense or no? So yeah, that's a little bit of insight for the mirror match. 3 Hayates. Hayate is just amazing, you guys. I play 3 of each because they come up a lot and you'll burn through them. Yeah, I don't have any hot tabs. There are proxies. But yeah, like I'm sure that like there's a lot of go hard or go home Sky Striker players out there. Like, you know, like they probably know. Like, I'm just probably repeating stuff they already know. But for those of you who didn't know, like, this is insight that I've accumulated in like the short amount of time I have playing the deck. Nobody taught me anything about this deck. I had to teach myself. We have Clara and Ruska. This card is like the only way that you can play under Secret Village without opening like a Pancreatops or like a, for example, an Epsilon, or sometimes like you can just use Shark Cannon. Like if they activate Metaverse and you don't have an out to it, you can change Shark Cannon and you can get one of their cards. Then you can normally hand trap and you can still make Nightmare Phoenix if you just need pressure. But it's just really, really helpful because oftentimes when you have a bad hand and they have Secret Village, you can normally hand trap and make this. But like sometimes the Shark Cannon helps more because being able to make Phoenix and kill the Secret Village helps you now because you don't have to like play under the village, keeping this on the field and just praying to God that you can keep the spellcaster. Like you can deal with the threats right then and there, and then you can proceed to finish picking their board apart. Now we have Phoenix, the card you're going to make a lot. Not just because of the Secret Village, but also because of floodgates like Anti-Spell, Imperial Order. There can only be one. Stuff like that. Just like weird cards where people try to tell you you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like oftentimes if somebody goes and matches me, this is why I love Shark Cannon. Like I can activate Shark Cannon, take a monster that's not the attribute that I have, and then I can link both of them into a card like this, which is still they're all like different attributes, because I think Gozen. No, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm getting at. Like I can use Shark Cannon to take a monster that's the same attribute that I'm under as Gozen. Or for example, if they put me under Gozen and I can't make this card, like Shark Cannon will just give me access to a monster of their attribute that I can use to deal with the monsters on their board and deal with their threats. Considering that Gozen pretty much just locked me into only having like this one particular monster that I can't use to solve all the problems. Like that was just a little bit more insight. And then I do play the one Unicorn. Unicorn's just so good, you guys. Like it helps out a lot. Like if there's multiple threats, like what you'll do is you'll afterburners, you'll jammy waves, you'll widow anchors, you'll make these, you'll clear more cards, and then you multi-roll and get it all back. Then we have Boar Sword for the OTKs. Oftentimes you're gonna be making this because of Shark Cannons and widow anchors. And then we have Omega and Scrap for the Psyframes, because these cards are just so good. I really don't see any Sky Striker players playing either one of these, nor do I see them playing like Psyframes. And if they play Gamma, they might play Gamma, but nobody plays Epsilon. And I want to put that card back on the map because it's so good. But yep, that's all my insight on Sky Strikers. I really hope that you enjoyed the deck profile. It's very, very in-depth. If you're a patient person, then you've stuck with me to the end of this video, and I congratulate you for being patient and understanding, and thank you so much. God bless you guys. Have a beautiful day, all right? Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells, and you will be hearing from me soon. Peace.